What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. We got another great show for you guys. Sorry, I've been off for a bit. I had some technical difficulties I was trying to figure out with some SD card stuff. SD card's a thing you use to record, and then when you have trouble with that, it's hard to record. I actually recorded the show Wednesday, but it got lost because I had problems with the SD card, but those problems should have been solved by now. So today I'm going to recap everything that's happened since we last spoke, and then I'll do like recap of last week's games for college football and NFL and preview these as well. Of course, there was football was last night. We'll talk about that, and I have a rant coming up for the Mets being eliminated. So we're going to say baseball for last, say best for last. I don't know if you want to call it best because the Mets were not the best team in the playoffs, obviously, but we are going to do baseball last. We're going to start with some college football. Week 6 was last weekend. Alabama, the top team, they escaped Texas A&M 24-20 in big game between Saban and Jimbo Fisher. Saban escapes with a win there. Number 2 Georgia beats Auburn 42-10. Number 3 Ohio State beats Michigan State 49-20. Number 4 Michigan beats Indiana 31-10. Clemson, who's ranked 5th over Boston College 31-3. Number 6 USC beats Washington State 30-14. Number 7 OK State beats Texas Tech 41-31. Number 8 Tennessee, they beat number 25 LSU 40-13. They're having a really good year, Tennessee. Number 9 Ole Miss beats Vanderbilt 52-28. Look who's Vanderbilt? They're actually having a somewhat okay year at 3-3. Usually they're a lot worse than that. 18 UCLA upsets number 11 Utah 42-32. Number 12 Oregon beats Arizona 49-22. We have unranked South Carolina beat number 13 Kentucky 24-14. Number 14 NC State beats Florida State 19-17. Number 15 Wake Forest beats Army 45-10. Number 16 BYU, they actually lose to unranked Notre Dame 28-20. Notre Dame picks up the win there. Number 17 TCU beats number 19 Kansas 38-31. So Kansas suffers their first loss. Number 20 Kansas State beats Iowa State 10-9. Arizona State, who's unranked, they beat 21 Washington 45-38. 23 Mississippi State beats Arkansas 40-17. And 24 Cincinnati beats South Florida 28-24. Those are college games from last week. Let's go over the games for this week. I'm going to do my game picks. Apologize for them being a little late. But there actually is a lot of good games on this week. First off, we got number 5 Michigan against number 10 Penn State. I'm going to take Michigan that game. That should be a really good game. 2 top teams in the Big Ten. But Michigan's playing some really good football. As is Penn State, but I'll take Michigan. Number 9 Ole Miss against Auburn. I'm going to take Ole Miss. Number 19 Kansas plays Oklahoma. Oklahoma's having a really tough year. Them losing their star quarterback from last year, Caleb Williams, and their head coach looking around ready to both go to USC. They bring in Brett Venables from Clemson. Not off to a good start at just 3-3. One of their worst years in quite a few years. Kansas, they're 5-1. They had a pretty light schedule the first few games. This is kind of a tough one to pick. Oklahoma favored by 9. I am going to take Oklahoma. I was kind of hoping Kansas would beat TCU to possibly, keep it going, but after they lose to TCU, then there might be a bit of a fraud, unfortunately. So I will take Oklahoma. I guess what's considered an upset. 22 seed Texas against Iowa State. I'll take Texas. 24 Illinois against Minnesota. I'll take Illinois in that one. Top seed Georgia against Vanderbilt. Georgia by a mile. 3 seed Alabama against 6 seed Tennessee. 3:30 on CBS. That should be a great game. I would love to see Tennessee win, but I am going to take Alabama. I do think Alabama wins, even though they didn't look great last week. Alabama is 6-0, but they've had 2 games where they did not look great. They did not look very good against Texas. Probably shouldn't have won that game. You had a really bad call in that game go in Alabama's favor. You had Quinn Ewers getting hurt. They only won on a late field goal. And then they should have beaten Texas A&M, even though they were without Bryce Young, their star quarterback. But I think they still should have beaten Texas A&M by a lot more. Texas A&M is not that good. 8 seed Oklahoma State against 13 seed TCU, another good game. That's also a 3:30 on ABC. Big 12 matchup. I'll take OK State. 15 seed NC State against 18 seed Syracuse in the ACC match. Syracuse is a half game better, but I'm going to take NC State. 25 seed James Madison against Georgia Southern. I'll take James Madison. James Madison moving to the Sun Belt this year has looked good. They're on the top 25. I'll take them. 4 seed Clemson against Florida State. I'll take Clemson. 16 seed Mississippi State against number 22 seed Kentucky. I'll take Mississippi State. And 7 seed USC against 20 seed Utah in a Pac-12 matchup. I'll take USC. Utah has not had a great year. Those are my college picks. Let's move on to NFL picks from week 5. And one of the worst football games I've ever seen. The Colts beat the Broncos 12-9 in overtime. That was a horrible game. Russell Wilson looked like crap. Matt Ryan looked like crap. Matt Ryan's line was not holding up. He was sacked 6 times. Colts won in overtime. Russ looks horrible. Broncos should definitely be concerned. Giants beat the Packers 27-22 in London in a big upset. Giants 4-1. Kudos to Brian Daboll. He's done a great job there. And the Packers do not look good at all. Patriots shut up the Lions 29-0. The Lions have pissed me off. This is why. They're 1-4. Yeah, they're on Hard Knock. We saw them on Hard Knock. We're like, oh my god, they got all these weapons on offense, a good O-line. Dan Campbell apparently is a great coach. Young pieces on defense. Aiden Hutchinson, they just draft. They're gonna, compete for a playoff spot. The Lions are finally coming alive. Really? All right, you lose to the Eagles week 1. All right, Eagles have a lot of weapons, so it's not that big of a deal. You give up 38 to them. You put up a good fight. You beat the Commanders. Congratulations. The Commanders suck anyway. And then you lose 3 in a row. They have the worst defense in the NFL. They gave up 29 points to a Patriots team that had a third-string quarterback in there. Their starting running back got hurt in the first quarter. They got, special teams coordinator and a defensive coordinator calling the plays. And a Patriots defense, which is not lighting the world on fire by any means, to get shut out. Apparently the best offense in the NFL. Got shut out by a pretty mid-defense, in my opinion. I know it's Belichick, but their defense is not a world beater. Above average defense, maybe. And they get shut out. That's embarrassing. But Dan Campbell, not a good coach. I'm sorry, Lions fans. I'm sorry. Everyone who thinks he's a good coach, he's not. I know everyone was saying last year, oh, he's in a lot of times, telling a lot of people they play hard. He seems like a really good guy. And he's definitely a guy that players probably love to play for. I see how they love to play for him. But come on, me of Scott Frost in Nebraska. Yes, he had them in a lot of close games. But, and then you look up, he's 5-21, 1-4 games. All right, yes, he had them in a lot of close games, but he's not winning any of them. You gotta win at least some of these close games. He's not. The Lions had, 3 wins last year? They could have probably had 8 or 9 wins. They lost so many close games last year. And now all of a sudden you get all this hype and you're 1-4. Lions season is over. They gotta get a new quarterback. Goff is not the worst, but he's very, very mid. They gotta get somebody else. They should look to a draft next year. They need a new defense. Their defense is horrendous. Probably the worst in the league. And they might need a new coach because Dan Campbell is not working out. Chargers, Browns. Chargers win 30-28. Texans beat the Jaguars 13-6. What happened to the Jaguars? A couple weeks ago, they looked like the best team in that division. Now, these last 2 weeks, Trevor Lawrence had 6 turnovers the last 2 games. You lost to the Texans, who were 0-3-1. You had the Bucks over the Falcons, 21-15. What was the rough in the passer call? Brady got the rough in his back pocket, I'm sure of it. That was a terrible rough in the passer call. I'll go after throw him to the ground. No, he didn't. That was such BS. Bills beat the Steelers 38-3. Goodness gracious. Jets over the Dolphins, 40-17. Happy that a lot of just young players played very well. Of course, tell them to have a third-string quarterback in there, so just take care of business there. Vikings over the Bears, 29-22. Titans over the Commanders, 21-17. Ron Rivera kind of called out the quarterback. He said he thinks he's in last place because of the quarterback. They asked him, do you think that you should have picked Taylor Heineke, not Wentz? He said no. I think he's done some good things for us. He's had a couple games where he struggled, so take from that what you will. Saints over the Seahawks, 39-32. Kudos, though, to Geno Smith. He's played very well this year. Kudos to him. To be fair, for the Jets, he had a terrible O-line, not very good weapons, no run game, a shaky defense, and bad play calling and bad coaching. Once the Seahawks got a good coach, much better play calling, a better offensive line, and some great weapons and a good run game. You know, maybe it was just the pieces. You never know. 49ers over the Panthers, 37-15. Panthers have fired Matt Rule. Finally, he was awful. They gave him a 7-year contract worth $73 million, so that he's got another $40 million coming his way. So he's definitely set. Fired football coach, probably the best job in the world, my goodness, but he's finally gone. Also fired the defensive coordinator, Phil Snow. Not sure why the offensive coordinator, Ben McAdoo, are still there. And Baker Mayfield is injured, but anyway, he sucks. I've been telling you guys for a while, the dude is not good. People said, oh, he's good. He was banged up last year. Year before, he played well. He's a decent quarterback. No, he's not. The dude is trash. He's absolutely garbage. He's done as a starter. Done. Eagles beat the Cardinals 20-17. Arizona missed a field goal as time expired. Just in that game to overtime. Cowboys over the Rams 22-10. Cooper Rush is now 4-0 this year, 5-0 in his career. That Cowboys defense might be the best defense in the league. They're playing really well. Matthew Stafford, he's struggling. They gotta get OBJ back. They gotta sign him and get him in the game. Their offense looks lost. Ravens over the Bengals 19-17. Justin Tucker game-winning field goal. What else is new for Justin Tucker? He is such an amazing kicker. Ravens take that one from the Bengals. And Chiefs over the Raiders 30-29. That was a back-and-forth game. Raiders went up 17-0. Then the Chiefs come back. Travis Kelce had 4 touchdowns in that game. Post-game interview, Mahomes went up to him and said, yo, this is my dog. Which was cool. I don't know what that last play of the game was, where Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow ran to each other on 4th and 1. Also, why are you doing a crossing route on 4th and 1? I'm going to get on the line. The guy got McDaniels out of there. He is a terrible coach. Get him out of there. He's done. He's pathetic. Get him out of there. Want to talk about Devontae Adams shoving the cameraman? Okay. So I think it was stupid that the cameraman walked right in front of Devontae while he was trying to get to the locker room, especially after he lost a really tough game. You know, the team is struggling. They're 1-4. You know, the way that game ended with, the miscommunication at the end. You know, he's in Kansas City. They're probably saying F you the entire game for the last 3 hours. He just wants to get to his locker room. It was stupid and dumb. But Devontae, you cannot shove the guy. That is assault. Should the guy have to go to the hospital? I don't know if you're going to the hospital from that. I mean, because of how much money Devontae Adams made, if I was him, I would show up Good Morning America and a neck brace like Stone Cold Steve Austin did. But real talk, I don't think he needed to go to the hospital. It was like a mediocre shove. But still, that is assault, and Devontae should have been much more apologetic, and that was kind of a punk move, if you ask me. For Week 6, Thursday Night Football, this game was just as bad. Commanders beat the Bears 12-7. We did not see a touchdown until the third quarter. We had 6 straight quarters without a touchdown. Poor Al Michaels, he's already pushing 80. He's announcing these last 2 weeks on Thursday Night Football is probably taking another 5 years off his life. That poor man. So let's go to my game picks for this week. Ravens, Giants. Ravens are 3-2. Giants 4-1 all of a sudden. But I am going to take the Ravens. The Ravens probably should be 5-0. They blew a 3-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter against the Dolphins, and then they blew that game against Pittsburgh. They definitely should have won that game. You know, Harbaugh going for it on 4th and goal and not getting it, and then blowing a 23 lead against Buffalo. I'm against Pittsburgh. I meant Buffalo. My apologies. Giants. I think Daniel Jones has not played very well. He's thrown just 3 passing touchdowns all year. The receiving core is really banged up. Their O-line still isn't that good. There's 3 reasons why they're 4-1. First of all, Saquon Barkley looks like he did in his rookie year. He's having a great year. Looks like he's back. Their defense has been excellent. Top 10 unit in the league for sure. Their defense has been outstanding. Kudos to Dominic Martindale. And his coaching staff, mainly Brian Daboll. Daboll, I think, might win Coach of the Year. He has done a phenomenal job. One note there, see all the Belichick disciples fail. McDaniels, Patricia, Joe Judge. They try to be Belichick 2.0. They use Belichick scheme. They bring in all these ex-Patriots players and these ex-Patriots coaches to coach with them who don't know what they're doing. And it doesn't work out because there's only one Bill Belichick. Dayball just does his own thing. He has his own scheme. He brought in his, the guys that they brought in were, not ex-Patriot guys. They're like just players he thought just fit his scheme. He brought in his own staff. Wasn't these guys he was friends with who didn't know what they were doing. He brings in Mike Kafka, who's offensive coordinator, who of course was the quarterback coach of the Chiefs. So he got to work with Patrick Mahomes. Brings in Dominic Martindale, who had a very successful run as the defensive coordinator of the Ravens. I'm sure learned a lot from John Harbaugh, who's a great defensive mind as the right coach, and it's working. So the Giants period trending in the right direction, but I'm going to take the Ravens, who, like I said, they're 3-2, probably should be 5-0. Jaguars Colts. I'm going to take Indy. They're not playing well, and Jaguars beat them earlier in the year. But in Jacksonville, Indy can't win for some reason. They haven't won since like 2014. In Indy, they're fine. So I am going to take Indy to beat the Jaguars, who have struggled the last 2 weeks. Patriots against the Browns. I'm going to take Cleveland. I don't know if it's going to be Bailey Zapp or Mac Jones for the Patriots. They're down their Damian Harris, their top back, who's a very good player now. And their play calling is not good. Cleveland, Jacoby Brissett isn't that good either. But they both have looked pretty bad, but I'll take the Browns in that one. Bengals Saints. And the Saints, the run game looked really good last week. They got some injuries, so I'm going to take the Bengals. I know the O-line looked just as bad as it was last year. And Joe Burrow is struggling a bit, but they got a lot of weapons. The defense has played well, so I think they'll be able to slow down the Saints a little bit, especially if it's Andy Dalton. Even if it's Jameis Winston, he's got 4 fractures in his back. He cannot be 100% healthy. Of course, Eli might not play, Michael Thomas might not play, so they're a little banged up. The Saints, I'll take the Bengals. Bucks and Steelers, I'm taking the Bucks. The Steelers are a dumpster fire. They got a really crappy quarterback, Kenny Pickett, who I don't have high hopes for anyway. He struggled. He has not looked good so far. Their O-line is terrible. The defense is terrible. It's banged up. Bucks are going to get a lot of pressure on Kenny Pickett. He's going to make some mistakes. Tom Brady's going to eat Pittsburgh alive. I'm taking Tampa. Probably not even that close. 49ers against the Falcons. I'm taking the Niners. The Falcons are not good. Niners are playing pretty good football. They're 3-2. I'll take the Niners. Jets Packers. I love the Jets. I think they can win the game. The Packers have not looked good so far. They're 2-3. The 2 games they won, they beat Tampa. They squeaked by Tampa in a low-scoring game where Rodgers didn't play well. And they beat the Bears, where the refs didn't mess up that call on the Justin Fields goal line. Bears may have had a shot to win that game because they would have been a 7-point game instead of a 14-point game with about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And of course, you look like crap against Minnesota week 1. Lose to the Giants, who you should have beaten in London. And now you got, get guys saying that they're not confident in the team. Aaron Rodgers is saying, hey, don't say that, please. That's not a good look. That being said, I think it's going to be tough for a young team like the Jets to go into Lambeau and pick up a victory. So I am going to take Green Bay. Hoping the Jets win, but I think it'll be tough. But I think it's a close game. I think it's a winnable game for my Jets, so we'll see. Vikings, Dolphins. I'm going to take the Vikings. The Dolphins might have Skylar Thompson at quarterback. Most likely, Tua. Not sure if Teddy Bridgewater's going to play. So I'm going to take the Vikings, who are 3-2 right now, playing pretty well. If it's not prime time, Kirk Cousins plays fine. Those are all the 1 o'clock games. 4:05, we got Panthers, Rams. Rams aren't playing great, but the Panthers look like crap. They got P.J. Walker starting. Steve Wilkes, their interim head coach. He's horrible. They got no coaching staff. They got no quarterback. That team's a dumpster fire. I'm taking the Rams. Cardinals, Seahawks. You know what? I'm actually going to take Seattle in an upset. Geno Smith has played very well. I know Rashad Penny's out for the year, but I like Kenneth Walker, rookie out of Michigan State. Had a big year last year at Michigan State. Geno's look good. They got some nice weapons. They're not a good defense, but Kyler Murray's been I thought it's been inconsistent. I'm not a fan of Arizona. I think Seattle this year is a little more competitive than we think. I'll take Seattle. In a rematch of the game of the year last year from the AFC Division round, Bills, Chiefs, 425. Could be a game of the year. Who wins? I'm gonna take. I think the Bills get redemption. I love the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs. They're a great team. I love Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, everything they got there. But the Bills look unstoppable right now. They got a couple of injuries in the secondary, but outside of that, Josh Allen looks like the MVP of the league. They got so many freaking weapons on that team. They got a good defense. Mahomes' receiving core is just not the same without Tyreek Hill. So I'll take the Bills. Sunday Night Football, Cowboys, Eagles. Eagles 5-0. Best record in the league. Cowboys 4-1. This is a NFC East first place game. Big game. I'm going to take Philly. The Cowboys offense really hasn't looked that great. Cooper Rush really overall hasn't played. He's game managed fine, but he hasn't leapt off the screen. You know, their O-line is really banged up. I think the Eagles are getting a lot of pressure on Cooper Rush and force him to make some mistakes. The Cowboys got a really good defense. They might have the best defense in the league right now, but Jalen Hurts and company are having a great year, so I'll take the Eagles in that one. Monday Night Football, Broncos, Chargers. First of all, stop playing the Broncos on primetime, please. I'm taking the Chargers in that one. Broncos, they look like crap. Nathaniel Hackett looks like garbage. Russ looks washed. Their top back, Devontae Williams, is out for the year. Their left tackle, Garrett Bowles, is a Pro Bowler. He's done for the year. They got a lot of guys out. Their offense looks like crap. Charles are banged up as well. Their left tackle, Slayer, is a Pro Bowler. He's done for the year. Their top edge rusher, Bosa's out right now. Herbert's playing nicked up. But I think they're a little better than the Chargers for sure. So I'll take the Chargers in that one. Those are my game picks. NHL season's underway. My Rangers are 2-0. They beat the Lightning 3-1. And they beat the Wild 7-3. Opening night, the Golden Knights beat the Kings 4-3. We'll just recap all the games. From Wednesday, we had the Bruins over the Capitals 5-2. Canadiens over the Maple Leafs 4-3. Canes over the Blue Jackets 4-1. Avalanche defending champs over the Hawks 5-2. Ducks over the Kraken 5-4. Oilers over the Canucks 5-3. And last night we had Penguins over the Coyotes 6-2. Sabres over the Senators 4-1. Flyers over the Devils 5-2. Panthers over the Islanders 3-1. Leafs over the Caps 3-2. I said around to beat the Wild 7-3. Stars over the Predators 4-1. Flames over the Avalanche 5-3. Golden Knights over the Blackhawks 1-0. And Kraken over the Kings 4-1. That's what we got for NHL so far. Before we get to the playoffs and then my Mets rant, talk about Extreme Rules that happened last weekend. We had the Brawling Brutes versus Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch against Imperium, which is, of course, the Intercontinental Champion Gunther, Lubbock Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci, and a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, which basically anything goes, with some really weird weapons. And the Brawling Brutes came out on top. That was a great match. I just want to take a minute and just talk about Sheamus. Sheamus has taken so much punishment in his career. He is such a beast. He actually said after the match, he said, these two lads, referring to Ridge Holland and Butch, I think he said something like, have completely re-aggravated me, and like something like his love for wrestling or something. That is a great faction. One of the few good things that Vince McMahon did in his last 2 years. And Sheamus, he is great. And also Gunther, although he lost the match, he's that dude's a stud. SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda Rousey defeated Liv Morgan in the Extreme Rules match to take back her SmackDown Women's Championship that Liv Morgan had for a couple of months. So Ronda Rousey's once again the champ. We had Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross in the strap match. Karrion Kross won with the help of Scarlett, his little girlfriend. He pepper sprayed Drew McIntyre, allowing Kross to pick up the victory. Raw Women's Championship, we had Bianca Belair versus Bayley in a ladder match. Bianca Belair picked up the victory in that one. Damage Control tried to help out Bayley, but then Bianca hit a double KOD from the top rope. Edge versus Cesaro in a quick match. You know, Beth Phoenix came out to help. Edge's wife, of course, she was a Hall of Famer. So she's a Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame wrestler. And then Rhea was about to bash her skull in with a chair, and the rest of the judgment was holding Edge hostage, and then he said, I quit. But then Rhea bashed in Beth's head anyway. So not a good night for Edge. We had Matt Riddle against Seth Rollins in the fight pit with Daniel Cormier, UFC Hall of Famer. One of the greatest UFC fighters of all time as a special guest referee. Matt Riddle picked up the victory in that one. And let's see if it was any other matches. And the White Rabbit was unveiled. Bray Wyatt, maybe the greatest return of all time. He's got all of his 6 friends. He is back. I wonder who the 6 friends are. There's a lot of rumors going around about that. Let's recap Raw from Monday. Well, that was actually a very, very exciting Raw. The Bloodline handled some business. Sami Zayn was trying to get Jey Uso to kind of chill out. Then Matt Riddle came out and challenged Sami Zayn to a match. And later in the show, Roman, Sol Sikoa, and Paul Heyman, they left and he told Jey Uso, make sure Sami wins tonight. And so the Usos stayed back. We're going to get to that match in a little bit. Johnny Gargano was also theory. Johnny Gargano picked up a victory. We had Chad Gable versus Rey Mysterio, where Rey Mysterio picked up a victory there. We had, so Judgment Day gave AJ Styles one more chance, of course, mainly Finn Balor, to join with Judgment Day. AJ Styles pretended to join. He was hugging Finn Balor. Then he said, I'm not talking about you. And then guess who came out? Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson came out. The OC is back. Then we have Bayley versus Candice LeRae with the help of Damage Control. Bayley picked up a victory there. And then they beat the crap out of Candice LeRae after. No, Candice LeRae won the match, but then they beat the crap out of her after the match. And then Bianca tried to help out, but Damage Control beat the crap out of her as well. Almost had a squash match. Congratulations, Omos. Just go away, please. You can't wrestle anyway. He has no talent. He's just a dig, honestly, at this point. Thankfully, Triple H has gotten him off TV for the most part. Miz's birthday celebration was ruined because Dexter Lumis, when he tried to open the present, popped his head in. Then Miz got really pissed off backstage with D-Generation X. Of course, it was their 25th anniversary. And Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, and X-Pac. Shawn Michaels, because of course he knows Dexter Lumis because he worked at NXT. He was like, I know Dexter Lumis, he must have really pissed him off. He was like, no, I haven't done anything wrong. And Road Dogg was like, why don't you challenge him to a match next week? And if you win, he goes away. But if you lose, then he can continue to torment you. And he was like, all right, fine. And he stormed off. So that should be an interesting match next week if that happens. Bobby Lashley versus Seth Rollins was supposed to be the United States Championship match, but then Brock Lesnar came out, beat the crap out of Bobby Lashley. Lashley was trying to go to the back, and then Seth Rollins called him out, saying you're supposed to be a soldier. Of course, he used to be in the military. So he tried to fight Seth Rollins, but Seth Rollins ended up beating a wounded Bobby Lashley, become the new United States Champion. And Bobby Lashley called out Brock Lesnar backstage, so next week they'll probably face off, in some sense. And then Matt Riddle versus Sami Zayn. Matt Riddle picked up the victory. Jey Uso was trying to step on ringside to help out Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn told him to, if he screw off, he said I got this. And later in the match, when Riddle was beating up Sami Zayn, outside the ring, Jimmy Uso tried to distract Riddle, but then Jey Uso held him back and said, no, let him handle his business, kind of taking a shot at Sami. So the Riddle, kept, beating him up, and then eventually RKO'd him in the ring to get the victory, and Jey Uso looked like he didn't care. And DX reunion, alright, yes, it was a little lame, but you gotta remember, Triple H almost died a few months back. And that's why he had to retire from wrestling altogether, officially from in-ring. He just wants some closure. I mean, Billy Gunn wasn't there, because he's in AEW. It is what it is. Unfortunately, China is no longer with us, but the originals, the real originals, were Triple H and Shawn Michaels anyway. They were there. You had X-Pac, you had Road Dogg. Triple H just wanted closure. Triple H knows this was the last time they're all coming out together. They're all getting old. Triple H is now running WWE. Shawn Michaels is running NXT. He's Triple H is assisting with WWE. Road Dogg's getting old. X-Pac's getting old. Billy Gunn is not even part of WWE anymore. Of course, China, unfortunately, is no longer with us. Rest in peace, China. So he just wants some closure. So kudos to him. So that's my wrestling recap. MLB playoffs. The Phillies and Braves are tied at a game apiece. Phillies took game 1, 7-6. Braves took game 2. The Astros are up 2-0. They stole game 1 on a walk by Yordan Alvarez. Mariners blew that game, and they took game 2 from Rivola's pitch to gem. Yankees up 1-0. Game 2 was rained out, so game 2 was tonight. Dodgers and Padres tied at a game apiece. They split the first 2 games. And then so tonight we got, for the playoffs, the games tonight, we have some game 3s. Padres, Dodgers, game 3 is tonight. Braves Phillies is this afternoon. So keep your eye out for that. I gotta talk about the match. Mets, what was that? What the heck was that? You blew that. 101 wins, and you lose in the freaking wildcard round. A few weeks ago, it looked like we were going to win the division, we're going to go to at least NLCS and the possible World Series run, and you lose in the wildcard round. You need one game against the Braves. Just one. Team you play well against all year and you get swept. How do you get swept with the best rotation trio in the league going? With DeGrom, Scherzer, the best rotation duo maybe in the last 10 years, and then Chris Bassett. Come on. What was that? If you didn't get swept by the Cubs, you would have won the division. Got swept by the freaking Cubs. Lost like 100 games. They suck. Max Scherzer, $43 million. $43 million! With 7 runs in Game 1 against the Padres. 7 freaking runs. I'm not sure if Scherzer's ever done that, and he's pushing 40 years old. Come on. That's egregious. Egregious. And Chris Bassett, game on the line, 4 innings. 3 walks. Like 3 or 4 runs. Disgusting. Disgusting. Their offense couldn't do anything in 1 and 3. That was disgusting. They blew it this year. They had a perfect year set up. To me, they all started on September 7th. They run freaking Timmy Trumpet. Great performance. Cool. That to me was saying, we're going to beat the Braves. We'll win the division. We'll go to at least NLCS. All will be okay. No. That was stupid. Absolutely stupid. The trade deadline was freaking... The trade deadline, by the way, super weak. Vogelback was a good pickup. Darren Ruff sucks. Give up way too much for him. Why'd they bring him in? Jay Davis looks like a completely different player in San Fran, and they got 3 other prospects. That trade sucked. Michael Gibbons' trade sucked. He sucks. They should have brought another reliever. But Gapper did a great job in the offseason, but trade deadline, he sucked. In the Mets series, they sucked. Unbelievable. Every freaking year. That is a choke job of a lifetime. 07, 08, 2022. All the freaking same. I don't care if this year they actually had 101 wins or in the playoffs, and 07 they didn't make the playoffs. All the same to me. Egregious. And now they got a lot of key free agents like Evan Diaz, DeGrom, Brandon Mo. You guys know. They better spend like $300 million this offseason. I don't care if the payroll is $600 million. Steve Cohen's worth $14 billion. His company makes $2 billion a day. He can afford it. Let's go. That was pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Embarrassing. That's my Mets rant. That's all I got for you guys today. Until next time, so long, and have a great day.